I got to sit next to like Dr. J and Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, shoot around with them. So I was living a kid's dream.
Coach, you want to talk about the current team, Flying Cows?
Man, I was on the edge of my seat like the whole game.
And I take it very serious. I take this game very serious. It's been really good to me. You know, it helped save my life. I had to practice what I preached every single day to my players.
Along with that, your personal journey. You've started a few franchises in the TBL.
Made history. I told them that after the game. I said, you will be a trivia question. For my next guest, I have is Caleb Wood, our #1 pick.
Yeah, so I had a basketball in my hand from the moment I was born.
We have Damien Daniels from Kansas City, from where I'm from. So I have much respect for that. Representing Kansas City pretty good, man.
Yeah, trying to.
Welcome back to Coach Ed's Basketball Corner. Head coach of the Flying Cows, the Frederick Flying Cows. My guest I have is going to be actually interviewing me. Coach Ed, nice to have you.
Thanks for having me, Ed. I appreciate it.
So he's going to be interviewing me a little bit. So people in Frederick, with the Frederick Flying Cows, basketball community, to know a little bit about me, the head coach. You know, last week we talked with some of the players. So you guys just want to kind of know a little bit about me, about my coaching, about my life, just what makes me tick. So Coach Ab is going to actually ask me the questions.
All right, Ed, I appreciate that. Now, Coach, talk about your background. Like, where did your passion for basketball first begin?
Well, my passion for basketball actually kind of started when I was like in 4th grade in Kansas City, Kansas, where I grew up at. So I just like my friend. I was a great baseball player. Little League, played in Little League, and I was like really good at it. So one day at recess, one of my best friends said, "Hey, let's go out and play some basketball." He said, and they said, "You're tall." So like we just went out on recess and started playing. I saw I was pretty good at it, and I just loved all sports, but I really fell in love with basketball. And then also, I have a brother that played in the NBA that was really good in high school and stuff and everything. And I kind of just grew up following him, watching him, and just going to the games and things like that too. So that's when I kind of fell in love in 4th grade, and I've been doing it ever since.
Can we talk about that brother and what his name was? Because he was a pretty good player, Ed.
He's okay. I try to tell him sometimes, like, only the older people know about you. But, I had to give him his due. He was a pretty good basketball player. His name was Otis Birdsong, 4-time NBA All-Star. The #2 pick in the 1977 draft behind Kent Benson. So he really would have got paid a lot of money these days. Actually, and he's actually the first $1 million basketball player to ever sign for $1 million, getting paid annually $1 million. So he signed with, he signed after his 4th year with the Kansas City Kings. He actually signed with Cleveland, and then the Kings matched it, and then traded him to New Jersey Nets. And I remember that day when he actually signed that contract, because I was in the car, I was a senior in high school, and he told me, like, I really want to tell you, it's more money than you ever thought. And I was like, $1 million? Because at that time, I think he was getting paid like at 6 figures, which back in that day in 1981, he was like one of the top players, but they made like only like 6 figures. It wasn't no $1 million at that time. So when he did tell me, I was like, wow, you are rich.
Oh, man.
And I kind of benefited from that too, a little bit too. So
yeah, tell us about that. You talked about your experiences working in the NBA a little bit as a young person.
Yeah, I started as a ball boy. I worked up to equipment manager for the Kansas City Kings, which are now the Sacramento Kings. And the ball boy equivalent these days now would be more like a manager. So, but back then it was like ball boys. And so what I did was I worked on the visiting team bench in the visiting team locker room. So I got to be around all the NBA players, actually be in the locker room with them. I set everything up on the bench, make sure I was in charge of making sure just wiping the seats for the coaches. So when the players sit down and during timeouts, I made sure their seats were wiped off before the coaches sit down. And then I had to when the guys would go into the game, I had to run behind them and get their sweats and all that stuff and fold them up and everything, and then go to the end of the bench and sit down. But I got to sit like actually right next to them. But I also too I like doing that because I used to get on TV all the time. So so during the game, so like now I can go back to YouTube and actually see myself on TV a lot. But I got to be in the locker room, got to be close to it, and I got to be actually in the huddles. Because actually when I got in the huddles, I did it. I did it to make things easier on me, so I could get to the bench real quick to actually wipe their seats, because they would be waiting, and sometimes the coaches would get upset, if you take too long and stuff and everything. And I just sit in the middle of the huddle. But actually at that time, I really started kind of listening to what they were saying, what they were doing, and never knowing I was going to be a coach. But I thought that at that time I wanted to play, and I thought it was going to help my game a little bit.
So not a very glorious job or glamorous job, but led to some lifelong connections.
Yeah, it wasn't. To me, it was glamorous. It depends how you look at it. It was glamorous to me because I got to be around NBA. I got to sit next to like Dr. J and Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and all the greats. Dominique Wilkins, and I just got to be there right next to them. Even though like I'm picking up all their dirty clothes and all that stuff, and I got to be behind the scenes. I got to like go to the arena early and shoot baskets. I got to go like actually sit, play with them and stuff like that. And not including like when I would go with my brother to practices and stuff. I actually got to know the players and actually shoot around with them. So I was living a kid's dream. So a lot of guys, like as I got older, said, "Man, I used to like watch you, and I used to be so envious of you guys, of you. I wanted to be out there because like I was right there with them." So
yeah, I could see as a young person of how fascinating that could be.
So I actually thought I was a pro. Actually, like because the way I just kind of carried myself and stuff, I was used to the NBA way, and people, they would come to our house, and mom and dad, my dad would have them over because we had a lake, and my dad they would come over and come fish, and then my mom would cook, and so they were just like everyday people to me. I don't think I really realized how meaningful my time was as a kid being around the NBA until I got older. When I would tell people, "Oh, I know him," and then they were like, "Really?" And everybody, I was like, because I just think they were just average guys,
Yeah, and you've shared some of those experiences with me as well over the start of this season. Coach, I want to talk about the current team, Flying Cows. One thing I've observed of you and your practices, you're a very demanding coach. You put a lot on your players and expect a lot of them. Talk about what you're looking for when you're looking for players, when you're out scouting, and the kind of guys that can play for Coach Ed Corporal.
It's a very, as far as type of guy I look for and what people can play for me, they got to be willing to like be very coachable. I do have high expectations because I like winning. I like winning, and but also I like developing players. So if they want to be coached and they want to move on, get to another level, I'm that guy. So I expect not anything less than that, to come in and be coachable. Also, as far as like talent wise, for guys to be kind of athletic, guys who willing to get into play within a system. Because it's easy to just get guys and y'all just out there playing, playing basketball and just kind of like freelancing it. But if for doing things with a purpose, and a lot of guys, I feel like we have, and that I've had in the past, kind of fit that mold. Plus, I'm a professional at what I do, but I'm an NBA kid, so I do things like the NBA way. So like guys want to be, especially at this level with the pros, and want to actually get to another level, whether it's G League or to the NBA level or something like that. I kind of run it like that and expect that from them to be professional, and also, like I am very demanding because, I mean, if you're passionate about it, and I take it very serious. I take this game very serious. It's been really good to me. It helped save my life. It's been good to me as I grew up. I benefited from it, so I don't really take it lightly. So I want people to and guys to understand that this can take you a lot of places, open a lot of doors, but you have to treat it right though. You can't treat it wrong and take things for granted.
Very good, Coach. Talking about, you mentioned it saved your life. I know about 11 years ago you had a very serious health incident, and it has kind of shaped your life in a lot of different ways, including in your coaching. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Well, 11 years ago, 2013, I suffered 2 massive strokes in during the season, right at the beginning of the season. And I didn't know if I was going to be coaching ever again. So I was in the hospital for 4 months, 4.5 months. And then I went to a nursing rehab center for another 2 months, so about total of 6 months. Out of my life, I was in a hospital or some kind of center, and I had to learn how to walk. I was paralyzed from the left side down. Look at my whole left side. And I actually lived in the hospital, and I had to learn how to walk again. And it was probably one of the hardest things I ever had to do. But the only thing that really saved me was basketball and, me getting back to my team, coaching. And I just wanted to get back to the floor, to the bench. And also, I had to practice what I preached every single day to my players because, it was, what I found out was perseverance, overcoming obstacles, being mentally tough, and just staying driven, so every day I had to go to rehab every single day. I had to go to rehab 3 times a day during the day. So I had to do physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and it was all day long, every single day. And what just drove me was I took it kind of like a game, I approached it like a game because I wanted to it was me versus the stroke. And I was so driven I was going to beat it. And my main thing, I just wanted to get back to the bench. But also, my team was watching me, my kids were watching me, because, my kids were watching to see how dad is going to react to things and how he's going to overcome this. And, I can remember their mom telling me you're going to have to really work at it. You're going to have to really show your players, because, they're watching you, the kids are watching you. And so you actually work hard every single day so you can get better, so you can actually help somebody else that goes through this. And I remembered that, and every day was a new day, and it was hard. It was like trying to walk, 50 yards or 5 yards. It felt like 200 yards. And it was just very hard. I mean, and it was days I wanted to quit, but it just drove me. But I took it kind of like going to practice, that rehab, because I said I'm going to practice every day. And but also it opened a lot of doors. I met a lot of new people, developed a lot of relationships, that I had along the way. Some with my therapist, the hospital, just great people, and also helping other stroke victims, down the road, helping them get through that. So that gave me a platform, when I went through that stuff and everything. And also with my team now, like, my current teams and my, past teams, since the stroke, it kind of gave me something to kind of like show them how hard you got to work despite whatever obstacles come your way.
Well, that's excellent, Coach. I mean, that's something that we all can learn from your team and your family, but we all can draw inspiration from that kind of story. And I know you have a great appreciation for life, having gone through that.
Oh, yes, because that was a scary moment that morning when I walked in. I tried to walk into the kitchen, and I just fell down flat on my face, and I had to crawl back to the bed. And it was funny, I didn't want to go to the hospital. And my daughter was at the University of Kansas, and we were living I lived off campus, right next to the campus. And she came over, she just happened to come over before she went to class. And she just could tell that something was wrong. But I fought her tooth and nail about trying to go to the hospital. And in fact, when I think about it, it's kind of funny because all I wanted she said, "You need to go to the hospital, Dad. You need to go to the hospital, Dad." And she called her mom, and her mom was like, put her on the phone, and she said, "I think your dad had a stroke." And all she said was like, she told me like, you need to go to the hospital." And I was like, no, no, no. And I was like, I was fighting her because all I wanted to do was eat. I said, "Give me some cereal or something." I said, "Go to the store, give me some cereal because I know they're gonna make me wait, and I'm hungry." Wait. But she called the ambulance. Thank God she called the ambulance and had to come get me. But all I was thinking about was food, because I knew I was going to have to wait, in the waiting room and stuff and everything. But they got me to the hospital, and then that's when they told me I had a stroke at the time. So,
Coach, I want to talk about your existence. I always call it a coach like you, been around so many places. I call it a gypsy existence, if you will. And you've been all over the place, but I'd like to kind of focus specifically about your journey in the TBL because a lot of people don't know a lot about the TBL, the basketball league. And you kind of talk about that a little bit, your journey, but give us a little background on the TBL in general.
So the TBL started like 7 years ago. It started with 8 teams at the very beginning, from New York to like Vancouver, Canada, Yakima, Washington, Kansas City, Kentucky. Where else? It was 8 teams, but kind of everywhere. But it was only like we had to travel a long way. Ohio was one of the places that we played, and then now it's up to like 38 teams. Had went to like 40 for a while, and now we're in our 7th year. The TBL is giving guys a chance to like stay here in North America instead of going overseas, and also has opened doors for teams, for guys to like play here and then just play in front of their families and stuff and everything, and also give them a chance to develop and hopefully get to the G League and to the NBA. And I've been fortunate to put like 2 guys in the NBA, 3 in the G League since I've been coaching. So the TBL is like giving them an opportunity not only just to develop as basketball players, but it's just people developing themselves as pros. Because I always tell guys, you're always with me for a reason. Because it may not even be basketball; it might be even social skills, attitude, just coaching, learning how to be coached, dealing with the community, just learn how to be a professional.
Okay. Now, along with that, your personal journey, you've started a few franchises in the TBL, is my understanding.
Yes.
Can you talk about some of the ones you started? And I'd like to compare those to this beginning in Frederick, if we get a little bit more time.
Well, I started one. My first year, I was assistant coach in Kansas City. And then the second year, I took over the head job in Kansas City and kind of ran that franchise. And we did that. And then COVID year, we started I did a team. I had a team in Sarasota, Florida, that I started, but because of COVID, we just didn't get to play. And then I came to Oklahoma and Enid, Oklahoma, won a national championship that following year in Oklahoma that first year, and that's probably the best season I had in 2021. We finished 30-3, all-time TBL best record in TBL history, 22-2, best start. We went 9-0, beating my record 8-0 in Kansas City. And then I was in Enid for a while, and then now here in Frederick, Maryland. So hopefully we can continue that, and seem like we've started off pretty good so far. It's heading in the right direction, and hopefully we can kind of give that same kind of energy that we gave the people in Enid, Oklahoma, here in Frederick, Maryland.
Let's talk about that opening night here in Frederick, because that was such a wonderful night, and it was like went by script. Maybe not how you thought the script should have gone, being down 24 in the third quarter, but for your guys, the answer and the young man Caleb Wood hitting that shot, it was just a wonderful night. And talk about that experience to your fans.
Well, you're right. It was great for the fans. It was great for them. It was almost like a movie, So, but for the coach, I wasn't feeling too great about that. In fact, I had my nice suit on and everything. I felt like I played when I took it off, and then also one of my little players was so excited. I felt like I was in the NFL, because he ran and jumped on me and knocked me down. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have a concussion. But that first night was the atmosphere was like electric. Fan support. It was crowded in there. It was packed in there, like it was a championship game, and then it ended like a championship game. So it was great. The atmosphere was really great. We played okay, but we hung in there because we kind of could have gave up. But, this team, I have noticed about this team, it never gives up. So we came back from, being 24-25 down and actually won the game. And our rookie, our first number one draft pick, made history. I told him that after the game. I said, you will be a trivia question, But he knocked down a shot 1.1 seconds at the buzzer. And it couldn't have been any better, It was just like a movie, and everybody was running around, jumping around like we had won the championship, And it was only the first game, So.
And that was something that struck me, the fans' reaction, because when Caleb hit that shot, I mean, the fans stormed the floor, and this was the very first game. I don't think the fans knew what to expect, but the energy in that building was just incredible.
Yeah, it was great. It was awesome, and hopefully we're going to continue to do that, and hopefully we have the fan support. Continue out through the rest of the season. We have had the first 4 games. We've had a really great crowd. So hopefully we can continue that, and hopefully we can continue winning ways too. Also.
Yeah, that is awesome. I think the word's going to spread as you guys keep playing, and I just think it's a wonderful thing for Frederick. It's the first time it's ever been done, and it's just the community is taking it by storm.
Okay, that's great. That's great, and it has, and it's going to continue. But thank you for coming by, Tim, just to chat with me a little bit, and so people can get to know me a little bit, and hopefully they'll keep coming to the games and stuff, and hopefully we'll keep winning. We had a hard one the other night. Last night when we just got back last night from Raleigh, North Carolina. But this team is fun to watch, and it's fun to coach, and hopefully we'll just continue this. So thank you. Come back sometime and chat with me some more.
Oh, I'd love to, Coach. It's a real honor for me, and I've really enjoyed it. So. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks. For my next guest, I have is Caleb Wood, our #1 pick with the Frederick Flying Cows. Welcome, Caleb.
Thanks for having me, Coach.
Caleb, this is probably the most I'm going to ever talk to you. It's like, Caleb is probably the most quietest guy that I have met ever. But he plays hard. And one thing we have in common, Caleb is an NBA kid. Your dad played in the NBA, how many years? 9 years?
8 years in the NBA and then 15 years pro overall.
Okay, that's great. So we had kind of some chats about, being an NBA kid. What are your memories as far as like, growing up? I'm sure did you go to games and go to maybe some practices and stuff and shooting the ball around? Because that's what I did,
Yeah, so I had a basketball in my hand from the moment I was born. My dad, taught me everything he knows about basketball. I wish I was a little older when he was playing because I don't remember too much of it. But yeah, I was born in Detroit when he was playing for the Pistons. Okay. And then, me and my 3 younger brothers, just basketball was a part of our lives, since we could walk.
So how old were you when your dad was in the NBA?
He was in the NBA, I think his last year in the NBA was when I was 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're really kind of young. So you weren't like me as a teenager where I really, I thought I was an NBA guy. So,
yeah, I don't remember too much of his time in the NBA, but I do have some really fond memories of when he played overseas. Mm-hmm. He played in Spain, France, and the Philippines after his NBA career.
Okay.
So I do remember a bit of that, and just being around that environment and going to his games was really cool.
Well, that's awesome. So you're a pro. So you went to Penn, University of Pennsylvania, right? Okay. I didn't want to say Penn State. University of Pennsylvania. All right. So, and you've been known for shooting. You can shoot the ball, and known for like shooting them 3-point shots. So, can you kind of just tell us a little bit about your college career, just a little bit?
Yeah. So, went to junior college, Lassen Community College out in Susanville, California, for 2 years. And then somehow the University of Pennsylvania found me out there. Mm-hmm. I think going off my stats and my 3-point percentage is why they liked me. Uh-huh. Transferred to the University of Pennsylvania, won the Ivy League championship my senior year, and we got to play in March Madness against Kansas, funnily enough, first round.
So what year was that?
2018.
Oh, okay. So that's when Devontae. Yep. Oh, okay. So, all right. So
they were pretty good that year.
Yeah, they were. They were very well. Very. Was Frank on that team? Was that 18? Was it just Devontae, Udoka?
Devontae and the big guy.
Oh, okay, Udoka. Yeah. Okay, Malik and them. Yep. Malik. Okay, all right, okay. So yeah, that was a good team. That was a good team.
Yeah, I think we were.
I remember probably seeing you play. So
we had them by 11 in the first half actually, and then I think they kind of turned it on to a different level. I think they went to the Final Four that year.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Because then they lost in the Final Four. Yeah, that's when they had Devontae, all them. So, tell me a little bit about Frederick now. How are you liking Frederick?
I've liked Frederick a lot. It reminds me a ton of Susanville, where I went to junior college, where there's a really tight-knit community, a really good fan base. I've been super impressed by all the people that have shown up for the games, especially all the kids. It's been super fun to have such a supportive, community surrounding us.
So let's talk about that first night. You didn't play that much, but when you came in, you made it count. Right? So what was going through your mind on that? Because when we drew up the play, I put like all shooters in. 1.1 second to go, and we ran that one play. So what were you actually like prior to right when you stepping on the floor and y'all was sitting up? What were you kind of thinking? What was kind of going through your head?
It's kind of hard to describe, but I feel like in that timeout before that final play, I just had a surge of confidence come over me, and I felt like I knew that if I touched the ball, it was going in. Like there wasn't a doubt in my mind, and it's something a situation you kind of dream about as a kid, right? So, as soon as I got that ball, I just let it go and didn't even think about it, and It went in.
And all I know is when you released it, it was like I could see it going in. I was like, I just knew it. And then when you hit that, it hit the rim, like bang, it just went in.
Yep.
And that was remarkable. So that's the kind of like guys, when you're in the backyard, you dream about, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, we win the game. Yeah. So that really happened to you.
Yeah. No,
in the first night as a pro.
Yeah. Mentally, I'd been in that situation hundreds of times, like you said, in the backyard, counting down, getting the final shot. So, just blessed it went in.
Well, Kayla, I'm glad that you came stop by to talk to me, and I'm glad to have you here in Frederick. And much success to you during the season. I know it's tough right now, but it's early in the season, and you just keep working hard, and we're gonna see a lot more of you, and in the future.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it.
All right. Back with another player of mine at the Coach's Ed Basketball Corner. The other half of the rookie duo, and also the other half of that exciting night of that first game, the guy that passed the basketball actually saw the guy open. We have Damien Daniels from Kansas City, from where I'm from. So I have much respect for that. Representing Kansas City pretty good, man.
Yeah, trying to. So
you don't have to be cool, man. Just be over there, all right?
That's me, for sure.
But Damien, I'm glad that you're here. I met Damien at the National Combine, and actually we know some people in Kansas City that when I was coaching high school that know you, that actually had reached out to me way before I even came to Frederick. So a team that I had in Kansas City that you were trying to get with, but I never got a chance to meet you and stuff. And so he actually got drafted by somebody else that is a friend of mine that's actually a well-known NBA guy that played with the Chicago Bulls. So you do know Coach Cliff Livingston. You ever seen him on The Last Dance?
Yeah, I seen him a little bit.
Do you ever see him like he's the one that said, "What time is it?"
Yeah.
Does he do that? Does he do that when you were out there out in New Mexico?
Yeah, he did it. He talked a lot about Jordan's mentality, things like that, and the things they did in the video and things like that. So yeah, it was great to learn from him for my little time out there.
Yeah, so he's pretty cool. So I wanted you really kind of bad, and I thought I would get you second round, and of course he picked you, so he got you. So one day I just kind of felt like, let me call Damien, and I said, just to see if he's still on that team. So I called him. I called you that night, and I said, like, if anything happens, if you're not, I was kind of praying that he would cut you. I said, but I was like, if he cuts you or like you don't make the team, let me know. And what happened? He cut you.
2 days later, I got cut.
And then what happened again? You was here the next day.
Next day, I was here.
Yeah. And so it was just meant to be.
For sure.
So like, it's kind of funny having a Kansas City guy here, that we know about everything, about the Chiefs and the Royals, certain areas and, in Kansas City and stuff and everything. So it's good to have like a homeboy out here in the East Coast.
For sure.
So how are you liking it in Frederick so far?
I actually like it. It's kind of the same as my college town. I just graduated last year, so it's kind of the same feel, tight-knit community. And I see that the fans are behind us, so kind of the same. It feels like home.
So what? It does have a little Midwest flavor. That's one thing I like. That's one thing I like about. I lived in D.C. I lived in and also in the suburbs of Maryland and stuff like. But it's different than Kansas City.
Sure.
So, but I do like the thing I like about Frederick because it's only like maybe an hour away from D.C. and Baltimore. But one thing I do like about Frederick is it has that Midwest flavor a little bit.
Sure.
The only thing it's missing, what it's missing? The barbecue.
Yeah, barbecue way different.
Yeah, the barbecue. If we could get Gates out here and stuff, they make it
They
kill.
love it.
They make it kill.
For sure.
So, tell me a little bit about your college career at Abilene Christian.
So I had a 5-year career at Abilene Christian. I left with a lot of records, a couple records. We made it to the tournament twice in my career. And we did a lot of winning, so it's a great career for me.
So you're used. So going back, you're talking about winning.
Mm-hmm.
You're used to winning.
Yeah, for sure.
So just to let me just kind of set this up.
Yeah.
Okay. So you used to winning like at Abilene Christian,
Mm-hmm.
but also in high school you come from a school that I'm very familiar with,
Mm-hmm.
Hogan Prep.
Sure.
Y'all win there.
Mm-hmm.
So you're used to winning like your whole life.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to toot my horn, but I call myself a born winner. I've won at every level. We won a state title in high school, and then I've won in college. So now to the pros.
So this is your first year for playing pro.
Yes, sir.
So you're getting off to a good start.
Yes, okay.
So I mean, like you passing the winning shot, you come in, you're like Mighty Mouse. You're just the quickest thing running from end to end. Kind of remind me a little of Allen Iverson a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Getting up there, you're tough.
Mm-hmm.
You played against the crime stopper that they call here in Maryland.
Yeah.
But you didn't back down.
Yeah.
You come from Kansas City, you represent very well.
For sure.
So you not scared of anybody.
Not at all. I would just say being this small and playing against different people in my career, I have to be that way. Obviously, small guards are overlooked, so we have to bring something that nobody else has. So
Exactly. So, like, I'm glad that you're with me. I'm glad you go to battle with me every night.
Sure.
So, what do people look forward to seeing you for the rest of the season?
Really, just like I said, being tough, making winning plays. I'm really just putting putting the team before myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'm really big in winning, and I know what it takes to win. So that's what the people can look forward to all year.
Well, I'm glad you could come here to join me.
Mm-hmm.
So I always have a person back from home. When I see you every day, I get a breath of fresh air, and I see you, and just I just like that energy in you.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of remind me of the Kansas, how people in Kansas City really kind of just like they work really hard. Things are not just really just given to us.
Right.
We kind of earn everything that we work hard and we just earn everything, and we play with a lot of pride too.
For sure.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you could stop by.
Sure.
Talk to me a little bit, and I look forward to keep coaching you and stuff. And I hope you can be with me for a few more years.
I got you. Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
All right, I'm here with Coach Ed Corporal, and I gotta say, I was at the watch party last night at Bushwallers watching the game, and from my side, it was hard to watch because we didn't know how much time was on the clock. But man, I was on the edge of my seat like the whole game. So tell me about it.
I mean, like we're 4-1 now. We lost a heartbreaker last night in North Carolina, 104 to 102. I was pretty upset, not at the guys. I think I was more upset just how we closed out the game. We're up like 36 minutes the whole entire game, and then we went through a stretch. They made a run at the end. Unfortunately, the last 8 minutes of the game, which was the wrong time, and ended up losing by 2.
Yeah.
So we made a lot of mental errors. And we just got to get better at, and we talked about it. But I kind of look at the positive side about it. We don't like losing. We're 4-0. We were 4-0 and they were 3-0. So it's like the battle of the beatings.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to see the grit and I know this team is very gritty. But also they learned this is their first road game, so they learned to be on the road. Is what it's going to take to win this thing, and
Sure.
This team could have folded, but they battled. They battled through a lot of adversity. Last night, as far as like, just just obstacles during the game. and so we gonna have to learn how to overcome that. And but we're pretty much humbled now, you know. So there's no undefeated now. So, but I mean, it's early in the season,
Right.
But we learn from it, and we're gonna learn from it. So
I mean, as a fan, I know everybody was screaming in the bar. We were all going crazy every time the bucket was made. It was just cool to be to see it already coming together from a local perspective. Even when you guys were on the road, everybody was watching the game. It was pretty fun to be there. I know I wasn't disappointed. I know that it sucked to lose, but honestly, it was still it's still part of the game, right?
Yeah,
you got to get those battle scars to toughen you up a little bit.
It's funny. I was telling the owner, like, you know, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. You know, like we won like that in the very first home game. We won, and then sometimes it's on the other end. You know, you lose like that too. Yeah. So because we actually tied it up, and I thought maybe we would probably go in overtime. We made some key errors at the end, and you know, I made a key error too, like towards the end too. You know, that could probably give us a chance to get a. You know, we did get a shot, but not a shot that we wanted.
Were there any players that you really felt stood out in the game and showed up yesterday?
Well, Charlie Margwad, you know, he tried to will us to win, you know, and but one thing, we had a key part in the game that, you know, Kyle Stewart gets injured like at the beginning of the season. I feel like that was it made a big difference, you know, because he's a big part of this team. You know, he does a little bit of everything, and I just felt like you know, that piece of the puzzle kind of that hurt us. So Dion came in.
Oh yeah, he played. He was on fire for a minute.
He came in and did really well. You know, he's getting better and better. You know, of course, he came in. He was on fire. He was hitting shots. He was taking the ball to the hole. He played very aggressively, and so I can keep him just keep getting better and keep improving and doing the same thing. Because, you know, Dion and I go back a long way. You know, Dion is an offensive guy. You know, and he's never seen a shot he didn't like. But he's learning the defensive end and how we're going to win this, and he's actually getting better at doing this. So I mean, he stood out too. I mean, but we just made some key mistakes down the end, and then that's coming as this team is growing. You know, when you get a bunch of new guys together, they really play together. A lot of them played together, some of them, but not as a whole. And remember too, you know, we ain't had this team that long. You know, only maybe 2 or 3 weeks. You know, maybe 3 or 4. It's not that long.
Right.
And so they're learning each other. They're learning me. I'm learning them. And then also, you know, it's hard to win on the road. That's why I always preach to the guys about, you know, we're taking care of home, winning at home, and then we could go 500 on the road. That's a good season.
Right.
So I mean, so we lost this first home game. First away game, and then you know, we're going to be playing Albany next week, which is a big game. So they're like probably one of the favorites to win this division too.
Okay.
But one thing, we're going to play Raleigh again, and so they'll come to our place and they'll see what we have here in Frederick, and it's going to be a whole lot different. It's going to be a whole lot different.
Of that crowd makes a big difference.
Oh my God,
the energy,
Yeah, so I told the guys, that's all right. They're going to come back. They got to come see us at our place. So it's going to be payback time.
All right, well, we'll be ready for them. So, all right, Coach. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
All right, thank you.
We'll see you soon.
All right.
Just want to take a minute to say a huge thank you to all of our sponsors. Rachel Smith here, our Smith & Company, for hosting us here in downtown Frederick, as well as HHA, Holistic Health Associates, Hawkins Landscaping, and Rehab to Perform. Thank you so much.
And I want to thank you also. I want to thank the fans. We're 4-1. It's no time to panic. We're only going to keep getting better. And I just want to thank you in advance. You know, we're on the road for a while, but we'll be back mid-April. But continue to watch us on TBL TV. Continue to watch us at if we're having online parties or watch parties. Continue to keep watching us and supporting us. And I just want to thank all our sponsors. I want to thank the sponsors for this, you know, and having the opportunity to have this show and actually having our guys and supporting our guys. And I look forward to being at Coach's Ed Basketball Corner next week. And hopefully next week I probably will be heading to Albany, New York to play the Albany Patroons. So I'll probably be speaking to you before we head down to Albany.
Sounds good. And again, of course, thanks to Big Poppy's Tacos for lunch. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you.